a lot of time.
Yes.
Yes. Basu, the recording has begun, so you may start now, please. Yes, Basu, please.
Oh. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was unable to unmute myself. Good morning, everyone, and welcome you all to this 3-day online international conference on All the World is a Stage, Shakespeare and Digital Humanities, exploring the bard in the algorithmic age. We, from the Department of English, Karim City College, are privileged to be hosting our 6th seminar and the second international online seminar, the last one which we held during the COVID period on translation. And once again, we are very proud to be presenting a wonderful panel of brilliant speakers. The purpose of any conference is, I suppose, to raise more questions than answers, to look at a topic from as many dimensions as possible. And I believe that interpreting and reinterpreting Shakespeare in the month of his birth is something that is widely necessary as we try to bridge the gap between the past and the present, between digital and conventional modes of learning. So I would invite our principal, Dr. Mohammad Reyaz, to welcome all of you to this wonderful gathering.
Thank you, Basu. Good morning to all. Honorable resource person, Asaduddin Sahab, Sarfraz Sahab, respected scholar, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, and my dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Karim City College, Jamshedpur, as we inaugurate this 3-day online international seminar on thought-provoking theme. All the internet is a stage, Shakespeare and Digital Humanities, exploring the bard in the algorithmic age. Karim City College has always cherished its legacy of academic excellence and cultural engagement. Today, as we gathered virtually across borders and time zone, we reframe our commitment to fostering dialogue that bridges tradition and innovation. The seminar theme is both timely and timeless. Shakespeare, the bard of Avon, whose words have echoed across the centuries, now finds himself reimagined in the digital sphere. The phrase, all the internet is a stage, invites us to reflect on how technology reshapes performance, interpretation, and scholarship. In the age of algorithms, artificial intelligence, and digital archives, Shakespeare plays are not only staged in the theaters, but also in the online classroom, interactive platform, and global networks. Digital humanities as a discipline allow us to explore literature through computational tools, data visualization, and digital storytelling. It challenges us to ask, how do algorithms interpret Shakespeare's language? How does the digital stage democratize access to his work? And how can scholars, educators, and students collaborate to keep the bard alive in this ever-evolving landscape? This seminar, with its rich array of papers, discussion, and perspective, promises to eliminate these questions. It is a celebrating of Shakespeare's University and recognition of digital age transformative power. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee, the participating scholars, and our enthusiastic students for making this event possible. May the next 3 days be filled with intellectual exchange, creative exploration, and collaborative spirit. With these words, I once again welcome you all and declare the seminar open. Thank you. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you very much, sir. And you have no doubt set the ball rolling, and we are ready to enter into the captivating world of Shakespeare and where he stands today. To further elaborate upon the concept of the seminar, we invite the brilliant mastermind behind it. It's Organizing Secretary and Head of the PG Department of English, Karim City College, Dr. Yahiya Ibrahim, who will tell you about what he planned in his head when the idea came to him. So over to you, Yahiya, sir.
Thank you, Basu. Thank you so much. First of all, I should extend my heartiest welcome and a very humble gratitude to all the resource persons, especially Asaduddin sir, who is present at this in this inaugural session as our chief guest to inaugurate this seminar, and all those other resource persons who agreed and consented to be with us in the next 3 days. I am also grateful and I heartily welcome all those participants who will be presenting their papers and will be with us in the next 3 days in different sessions. Last year on 23rd April, I was there in a local university with the kids of that university celebrating Shakespeare Day. And that day, a question haunted our mind. So I would like to begin with that question, which became a reason for this seminar this year. The question was that what if Shakespeare lived and wrote during the digital age? How might his storytelling vary and what techniques might he employ to capture a 21st century audience? So this was the question that haunted our mind when we were celebrating Shakespeare's Day in that local university last year. In a world dominated by social media, AI, and instant communication, Shakespeare's works remain surprisingly relevant. His exploration of universal human experiences, love, power, betrayal, ambition, transcends time. But it is more than just the themes. His storytelling techniques, the mastery of language continue to influence modern narratives in movies, books, and even marketing. In the digital age, wit and conciseness are the key features. Shakespeare's profoundly personal soliloquies could be condensed into witty tweets or viral memes. Imagine the well-known quote for Hamlet, "To be or not to be," transformed into a trending hashtag campaign for mental health. Social media algorithms might be mastered by manipulative characters like Iago, who would use clickbait headlines and rumors to twist stories. Once limited to the Globe and Blackfriars theatres of London, Shakespeare's plays would probably evolve into multimedia extravaganzas. After cinema screens, now his works may be serialized on websites, channels like YouTube, and the streaming platforms. Imagine a Midsummer Night's Dream transformed into a magical, interactive, augmented reality experience, or Macbeth as a Netflix psychological thriller series. Audiences wouldn't just watch but could actively engage, vote, or even twist plots, or choose character fates akin to interactive storytelling formats like Black Mirror or Bandersnatch. Many of today's top movies and TV shows borrow heavily from Shakespearean plots. From The Lion King, almost a retelling of Hamlet, to The West Side Story, a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, his storytelling blueprint continues to shape entertainment. Even popular franchises like Game of Thrones owe a great deal to Shakespeare's blend of politics, drama, and deep character arcs. The digital age has breathed new life into Shakespeare's works. Platforms like YouTube, podcast, and social media are home to modern interpretation of his plays. This accessibility introduces Shakespeare to new generation, making his words more relatable and more engaging. If Shakespeare had access to AI technologies like ChatGPT, would he treat them as collaborators or rivals? Perhaps AI might help generate subplots or suggest different endings. His famed sonnets may be remixed and regenerated indefinitely, resulting in a diverse range of new Shakespearean poetry. The combination of human creativity and machine-generated content may result in hybrid works that challenge established concepts of authorship. With the rise of metaverse, the Shakespearean play might transcend the confines of physical place. Virtual reality might transport spectators inside King Lear's court or to the stormy island of the Tempest. Spectators will become participants moving around scenes, engaging with characters, and experiencing the play as immersive first-person journeys. So all this now bring to some situations. So let us imagine those situations. Shakespeare's memes and viral adaptations. To eat or not to eat. To tweet or not to tweet. Juliet on Tinder. Macbeth as a toxic CEO. Short form contents like TikTok performances based on Shakespeare's dialogues and utterances. King Lear in 60 seconds. King Lear in 60 seconds in YouTube or in a TikTok summary. ChatGPT rewriting Shakespeare. AI generated sonnets. Digital humanities and how machine learning is used for textual analysis. Web series like Nothing Much to Do based on Much Ado About Nothing. Shakespearean tropes in TVs. Succession, the very famous show, adaptation of King Lear, and The Lion King as Hamlet. Interactive Shakespeare, video games, virtual realities, micro storytelling, comparing sonnets to Twitter or X threads, Sonnet 18 as viral love thread. Twitter sonnets, condensing Shakespeare into 280 characters as parody accounts, analysis, so how platforms, soliloquies as confessional posts, Instagram and fan fiction, modern alternate universe of Shakespeare's plays, hashtag Bard, campaigns like Shakespeare Sunday or viral challenges, lip sync Lady Macbeth. So something like that. Memes, templates, distracted boyfriends as Othello, Iago is whispering to Othello, Juliet on Tinder, as I said already, Macbeth's memes, so all these situations, tools like ChatGPT rewriting scenes of Shakespeare, Google's DeepMind generating lost Shakespearean verses, ChatGPT or DeepSeek writing a convincing sonnet. So all this makes way for some serious questions and some serious deliberations thereon. And I hope that this seminar will ponder upon it. What can be those deliberations? What can be those serious questions? Is Shakespeare being diluted or democratized in digital culture? Why the bard remains a mirror to contemporary society still? What is gained and what is lost in abbreviating Shakespeare? Does interactivity deepen or distort the text? Is digital Shakespeare making him more accessible or oversimplifying his genius? Does AI understand Shakespearean tragedy or just mimic it? If Shakespeare had Instagram, what would he be, an influencer or a troll? Do memes make Shakespeare or make him more accessible? Can a TikTok performance capture the depth of Shakespeare's tragedies? Do these adaptations enhance or dilute Shakespeare's original intentions? Why does Shakespeare keep getting remixed in the digital age? Does social media shorten attention spans for classic literature, or does it spark new interest? Is AI a tool for preservation, or does it risk distorting Shakespeare's legacy? Is digital Shakespeare a form of cultural preservation or a lazy appropriation? Will AI make Shakespeare more inclusive or erase authorship altogether? If Shakespeare were alive today, would he be a YouTuber, a bot, or a meme lord? If Shakespeare were alive today, would he be a Twitter poet, a TikTok performer, or an AI prompt engineer? So these questions make us ponder and go for different kind of deliberations I am hopeful as an organizer that in the next 3 days, we may have some answers at least to these questions. As far as my take is concerned, the tension between preservation and innovation mirrors Shakespeare's own borrowing from older texts. Digital tools are not replacing Shakespeare, they are extending his cultural lifespan through participatory reinvention. While traditional scholarship preserves Shakespeare's text, digital culture, social media, memes, and AI, they are all democratizing, distorting, and reimagining his work for a new audiences. Thank you so very much. And I once again extend a heartiest welcome to our respected Asaduddin sir, Sarfraz Bhai, all the other dignitaries who have joined today, our principal sir, our colleagues, and the participants for today, and more especially our students who are here to make the program a success. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Yahiya sir. I think that was a brilliant exposition of all that we can think about and in the various ways that we are trying to own Shakespeare, claim Shakespeare, to whom does Shakespeare belong, and to which spaces can he be inhibited or liberated into. And I think all of us are now very, very eager to be listening to Asaduddin sir. So I would like to invite Professor M. Asaduddin, a distinguished academic critic and translator, renowned for his expertise in comparative literature and translation studies. He is a former professor and chair of the Department of English and the former dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Languages at Jamia Milia Islamia, New Delhi. A leading scholar on Munshi Premchand, he has specialized over the years in translating works from Urdu and Hindi into English. And one of his very significant works include Premchand in World Languages, Translation, Reception, and Cinematic Representations. He has served as the honorary director of academics at Jamia Milia Islamia, where he spearheaded significant academic reforms and introduced the choice-based credit system. He has been a visiting professor at prestigious international institutions, including the Rutgers University, the University of Michigan, the Languages and Civilizations Oriental at Paris, and the University of East Anglia at UK. He has served on the juries of the Sahitya Akademi Award, the Crossword Book Award, and the Meenakshi Mukherjee Prize. He has also been a Fulbright Scholar in Residence, with his research focusing on post-colonial literature, translation theory, and the intersections of language, culture, and minority studies. I do not think any bio note is capable of doing justice to the very dynamic genius of M. Asaduddin sir. And with all our humility, we invite him. We are very grateful to have him with us on this panel, and we invite him to deliver the inaugural address for the conference. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Basudhara, for your kind and, I must say, very exaggerated praise. But I don't know whether I'd be able to justify that. But nevertheless, I think my only claim to doing anything with Shakespeare is a book that I had edited long ago, which is called Filming Fiction, Tagore, Premchand, and Ray, where we examined the processes that are involved in turning printed text to text in images to films, basically. Esteemed Principal Reyaz Saab, esteemed Head of the Department, Professor Yahiya Ibrahim, Sarfaraz Saab, who I have the opportunity to see on the screen after a long time, and all the young participants who are logged in, my deepest greetings to all of you. I prepared a short note which is titled Reading and Teaching Shakespeare in the Age of Digital Humanities, in which I have tried to combine my own personal experiences of reading Shakespeare mainly in printed texts, and tried to look at the transition, the transformation reading and teaching Shakespeare has undergone over the last decades. The first question with which we can begin the conference is, why Shakespeare at a distance of more than 400 years? Fortunately, the answer is quite easy, not complicated at all. Certainly Shakespeare, it is he who often helps us make sense of the chaotic, cruel, incomprehensible, and yet in this incredibly beautiful world. He teaches us to cope with it in various ways. His writings expand our imagination and enlarge our empathy. His characters are so intensely and fully realized that in them we see reflected the infinite possibilities of both good and evil in human beings. His Julius Caesar, King Lear, and Macbeth are every inch kings and rulers. His Iago is the most vile representation of evil on earth, for whom Shakespeare says, one may smile and be a villain. Shakespeare resonates with us even today because in him we find reflections of our own thoughts and feelings and challenges. When King Lear says, it's the time's plague when madmen lead the blind, we cannot but think of Donald Trump and several other tyrants today who are leading humanity on the very precipice of disaster and destruction. What is Shakespeare's relevance in India? Shakespeare is integral to the development of theatre in India. If one looks at the history of the development of Indian drama and theatre in many languages, we will find that many drama and theatrical traditions developed through translating and domesticating Shakespeare's plays. If you look at the history of the Parsi theatre, which is the forerunner for the Bombay film industry, we will find that Parsi theatre in its formative stage sustained itself through translating, adapting, and staging Shakespeare's plays. This tradition continues even today. Shakespeare provides a fertile ground for adaptation or remake not only for Hindi films, the most recent examples being Vishal Bharadwaj's Maqbool, Omkara, and Haider, but also for films in all other Indian languages. For a long time, English studies depended heavily on having Shakespeare's plays and sonnets as a major component of the syllabus. Many legendary teachers and scholars of English studies built their reputation as teachers and specialists of Shakespeare. To be able to quote Shakespeare appropriately in relevant situations was considered the hallmark of culture and good breeding. However, the way Shakespeare was studied and taught has undergone substantial changes over the last decades. And here I'll take a dive into the past before coming to the present. I remember my own college and university days when close textual study and analysis was the only way open to us for studying Shakespeare. H.C. Bradley and Elsie Knights were the star critics our teachers would swear by and would quote from them as though they were the final and ultimate authorities on Shakespeare. At a later stage, the more enterprising students would borrow LP records from the British Council, libraries, spread in different parts of the country at that time, to listen to the recitation of the plays by famous Shakespeare performers and actors like Laurence Olivier and others. Then came the age of cassette recorders. One could borrow cassettes from the British Council library and listen to the performances delivered by actors. In very rare cases, there would be a Shakespeare film screened in the theater in the city not in far-flung small towns or villages, and one would get an opportunity to set one's eyes on actors, even if on the screen, and look at the way they perform various Shakespearean roles. That is how one studied and taught Shakespeare. But all this underwent a profound change with the advent of the internet. The cold printed text gave way to the hypertext that made a wide variety of referential worlds accessible to the readers while reading the plays. And this reading now came to be supplemented by different versions of the performances that can be accessed simultaneously in real time. All this made experiencing Shakespeare at totally different levels than that were possible earlier. You will appreciate that the meaning and the final impression of a dramatic text or performance will depend on the slight modulation of voice, change in intonation, nuances in physical gestures, and so on. I remember how Olivier's rendition, this by listening to the cassettes, Olivier's rendition of the soliloquy, to be or not to be, that is the question, and Alan Cummings' rendition of the soliloquy in Macbeth, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, and then life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, had opened a world of new meanings to me, which a solitary individual reading could never have yielded. Then when the theatrical rendition of various Shakespeare's plays became accessible through the internet from around the world, it democratized the study of Shakespeare. Readers and actors from even the most obscure places of the world could access the best study materials that were available in terms of Shakespeare studies and could watch legendary thespians from different parts of the world acting out challenging roles with consummate skills. The traditional scholarly research on Shakespeare is still continuing. One critical work that made its mark in the 60s and 70s of the past century is Shakespeare, Our Contemporary, by Jan Kott, the renowned Polish theater critic and Shakespeare scholar, which was a significant intervention in Shakespeare studies and research. Not only academics, but even actors and producers studied it in improving their craft. A contemporary critic who is being much celebrated is Stephen Greenblatt, whose books, Shakespearean Negotiations, Will in the World, Second Chances, Shakespeare and Freud, and several others have added much to the archive of global Shakespeare research. Audience in India have heard and interacted with him in flesh during the Jaipur Literature Festival. He also conducts online courses through which students from anywhere in the world can not only participate, but also interact with him. Digital humanities, however, has led to many pedagogical innovations in reading and teaching Shakespeare. Tools like eZoom book framework allow for zooming in on specific content and zooming out to the whole work, enabling deeper interactive study for students. It allows students to collaboratively create, annotate, and zoom between original Shakespearean text and adapted, enriched versions prepared by themselves. This method is specifically designed for Gen Z students because it makes learning more of a fun activity than an intimidating exercise in solitude. Students use digital tools to select quotes, write summaries, and add multimedia elements, catering to a generation comfortable with digital content. The only warning is that in doing all this, as perhaps Yahiya Saab has pointed out, we shouldn't get down to trivializing Shakespeare, because nothing substitutes a serious textual study of Shakespeare, even at this stage, because all these digital modes may be complementary. They can never replace the traditional textual study of Shakespeare. Digital Shakespeare has also created a social media community. Shakespeare thrives on social media platforms, as has been pointed out, with Twitter, currently X, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram serving as spaces to share, discuss, and reinterpret his plays, making them relevant to contemporary audience, particularly young audiences. Finally, the digital environment offers new ways to reimagining the stage altogether, with each platform offering new ways of understanding and disseminating Shakespeare. This conference is extremely timely, for which I congratulate the organizers. I'm sure the deliberation that would take place in the academic sessions will throw light on different aspects of the major themes and sub-themes of the conference. I wish all the participants an academically rewarding and intellectually stimulating experience during the conference. With this, I declare the conference inaugurated. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Those were very, very beautiful ideas and also relevant to begin with, because it is important to reassess why Shakespeare. As we move into this conference, I hope that we take insights from whatever you have spoken, and we find ways in which we can relate the Shakespeare that we know to the Shakespeare that our students are discovering for themselves today. Thank you very much for a very, very enlightening inaugural address. And I would now like to call upon our own Professor A.K. Dash, sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Sir, Mike. Sir, Mike.
Yourself.
Thank you, Basu. I have been called upon to propose vote of thanks. I heard very minutely what our speaker has just now said. He has been introduced by Yahiya sir, our principal sir, and Basu ma'am in details. His academic achievements, his knowledge of translation, his knowledge of cross-cultural studies, all these speaks of his heights in the field of academic and performative arts. Today's topic that he has touched upon is fraught with many dimensions. Shakespeare has remained the most read, most discussed, most enjoyed on screen, stage, and other medias till date. Now, as Asaduddin sir has said, you have rightly said, sir, that there are two ways of interpreting the thing. One, what Shakespeare essentially stands for. Can it be transcribed into digital mode? Can the soul of Shakespeare can be captured by the digital apparatuses? This is the big question. Although this invasion of electronic media, digitization of the plays of Shakespeare have been able to attract the modern young audiences, but then to study Shakespeare, to know Shakespeare in its essence, it is very, very essential, as sir has pointed out, that to study the text of Shakespeare, to revisit Shakespeare in pages, there is no other alternative for that. Sir, your discussion, your deliberations have been very enriching for all of us, and we are spellbound by your erudition and your expertise on this field. I, on behalf of the Department of English, Karim City College, accord you a big thank you for being with us and elaborate our knowledge on Shakespeare vis-a-vis his presentation in the digital world in the right perspective. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your very kind words.
Thank you so much, sir. Bahut shukriya, sir. Dear participants, we are signing off now. But I would like to make an announcement before Basu takes back the mic once again, that please be with us at 12:30 for the first plenary session, in which Professor Samir will be deliberating upon the same topic. Thank you so much. Basu.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to welcoming you all again at 12:30. Thank you.